Alrighty guys, welcome back. Now, in the meantime, I did do some touch-ups on this horse before filming, and I'm at a point where I'm quite satisfied with how it's looking now, so which is good because I wasn't really looking forward to stripping it back. So I hope you guys had a good day. Maybe it's your Friday if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, and well, I'm in the Northern Hemisphere as well, but it's our Saturday here. Yeah, if anything, I'll hopefully get this horse finished today. It's quite a glossy tinge. That black paint I'm using has got like quite a glossy sort of finish to it. But with the matte varnish at the end, should be fine. So I'm just going over with like a sort of a mid brown over that that dark brown, black brown I used before. And thanks for people's encouragement and messages today. I'm still enjoying like painting this. I know yellow is a bit of a pain, but I think it just comes down to perseverance in the end, and just, you know, taking it easy and just relaxing into it. You know, I certainly wouldn't want to paint an entire unit of something like this. Mind you, you get pretty good at it afterwards. I'll probably actually airbrush it if I was going to do like a massive regiment of like yellow cav, like barding or something like that. And the tail is going to be black, so let's go grab some of this Caspian blue, I think it's called. Black here. Highlight. I might do the saddle in the same color, I think. You're not going to see it very much anyway. And that way I can just sort of just quickly get that done. And righty. So on the Facebook group and the Hero Hammer group, I posted up that Google Doc that Neville been working on. Neville's a member of that group as well, and he's actually from in Queensland, from where I'm from in Brisbane, and he put together a bit of a doc for us for this, you know, this worldwide campaign or global campaign, what do you want to call it. And I just sort of chatted with him about it today, and we added a few extra little parts to it. So there's a section where you can write your battle report, and there's a section where you can add some photographs. So I think now at this stage we've got to a point with the Google Doc that it's all ready to go. and I posted up on the group so that people could give their feedback if they wanted to add anything else to it that we hadn't thought of. But it might be just like a really useful document just to record your battles after having finished them, and you can write up a little battle report as to what happened and include some pictures as well, so that'd be great. So it'd be nice to see people's battles as they had played them, and I think it'd be a good opportunity for people to make like just YouTube videos. Just grab their camera, make a video of their game just using their phone like I do, and uploading that. I think that'd be awesome. If we can see it on video too, that'd be fantastic. So yeah, but that's gonna hopefully kick off towards the end of the year. But we just need to nut out some ideas of what we're going to do, like how is it going to be special, how is it going to be played out, and is it going to be like a one-day event, is it going to be like a week-long, month-long event kind of thing? Will things get unlocked, like some people have suggested that perhaps we should have some kind of special magic items that get unlocked at certain points during the campaign, and that kind of thing. Where is it going to be set, and what's the backstory behind it, and all that kind of thing. So if you want to give your input, it doesn't necessarily have to be through there. You can leave it in the comments below, and I can convey that to the group if you're not part of Facebook. I had a couple of people reach out to me today. One guy, I think his name is Anthony from the US, got in touch and told me about his blog that he has running, and he plays I think on the east coast of the US, and he plays mainly 3rd edition. And he's got a really nice blog. I'll have to leave a link either in this video or in a future video so you guys can check out his work. And if it's okay with him, I don't think he'll mind, but I'll just save some images of his miniatures and post them up after this video. He's got some really nice forest goblins and savage orcs and spider riders, all those kind of units that he's painted up. So I'm just going to add some just like that lightish color brown, just to use as a highlight. I don't want it too light, so I just want to have that color as the final highlight for the brown. That's as light as we want to take it, really. Just going to keep it, still keep it dark. I think his muzzle here, around his mouth and nose and all that, it's all light brown too. Alright, so it's not looking too bad. Let's add some extra little details here and there. So we're going to paint those eyes in black. that his mouth? No, I've got the wrong one. It's going to be in like a metallic. It's like don't know what that's called actually. That's in his mouth. That's like part of the reins that join up there, but it'd be quite uncomfortable having that shoved in your mouth, wouldn't it? Poor old Mr. Horse. I'm just going to put some black in his nostrils there too. This outline here as well. Just going to sharpen some of these bits up here that I see them when I see them. I'll try to make the stars as neat as I can. And like in proportion as much as possible. You can probably see some like white lines here and there, like me trying to correct them and shape them a little bit, but yeah, looking at the studio one, they're not absolutely perfect either. You know, to paint, you know, perfectly geometric shapes is not easy. Maybe I could have done it with a pen actually. Probably not a bad idea. So I hope you guys got some good plans for this weekend and maybe some hobby time if you can do it. And that ink's made everything really super glossy now, so I'll definitely have to do a matte varnish over all that, so it will sort of just knock that glossiness off everything. It did improve it though. I like that now. Like, you know, it does bring a certain warmth to the yellow that I quite like. So. Paint on me there. Okay, so we're just going to put that aside for now. It's not 100% finished, but it's pretty much almost there, so I can probably just finish off the rest myself. Now, this guy. I do some of that sword now. And let's see what we're going to use. I quite like that natural grey actually. Is it natural grey? Yeah, natural grey. It's not natural steel or something. It's another paint that I was using. I thought it was quite cool. Nope, I think this one is it. Natural grey. Okay. Just try putting that, just layer that on one side. It's the usual way I like to do blades, and just sort of just paint in that edge there. And other news today. Oh, it's been quite watery there, isn't it? I just launched that Patreon page, you know, just for the hell of it. I don't expect it to be, a massive success, but if I can add some extra content to that page as I go and sort of just build it up and put in some really nice content in there that for people that who do pledge their patronage to that site, that'd be quite cool. I hope to do it anyway. It's been like maybe special projects, like terrain projects I'm working on, sort of behind the scene kind of stuff. Maybe some like really special battle reports, like we play a battle report and then we switch sides, and then that battle report might go on there as well, or something like that. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, see where it sort of leads me along. It might not get anything on there, I might not have time to do anything with it, but it's just been a sort of something I wanted to get into, so it's sort of pushing me into doing other or more stuff. I guess doing these videos have been good for me as well. So I'm sort of painting stuff that I probably wouldn't have painted and done necessarily. So that's been good in a way as well. Maybe finishing off certain projects as well has been quite good, as this has been sort of half painted for a while. Just adding some ivory into that mix now and see how that looks in a minute. And Diego got in contact with me today about this auction on eBay for those river trolls that I was after for the other two variants. But yeah, the price wasn't too bad. That's 60 pounds for the two. But with Australian dollars, like, so I need to, as I was explaining to Diego, like I need to use my Aussie PayPal to purchase all that kind of stuff, but the Aussie dollar against most most currencies are just like really poor and quite low and weak against them. So I think that £60 is like about 120 or $130 Australian. So it's not really worth that for just two models plus the postage and all that as well. So it's probably about 150, 160 bucks or something, which is a bit crazy. I would like to get them, but I'm not that I'm not overly desperate for them. But yeah, one day. Which is going to be a topic that me and Justin want to breach on the podcast at some point, like how much is enough, and should you be setting your, should be like realistic about what you can afford and what you can actually paint in a lifetime. I think we can all go through our minds and say, yeah, I want all this and this and this and this, but realistically, will you ever paint it? I think for me, I know how long it takes to just do an army, like just doing my dwarf army just took forever. But a lot of it's painted now already, but that took a huge amount of work. So many hours put into that army to get it where it is now. and I'm still, you know, I've still got another. I think it worked out it's another 100 figures to paint up for it. I think. I've got the Thunderers, Crossbowmen. I've got another unit of Warriors. The Longbeards. So that's 20, 40, 60, 80 models. I've got one more War Machine. And ideally, I'd like to have like a unit of Miners. So that's going to be like easy 100 already. So but that will see it. Apart from a couple of characters I'm missing. I'm missing Felix, so I need to get him at some point. Ungrim Iron Fist, the Slayer King, need him. And is it Durok Damonson, the engineer guy? Yeah, I just need that guy as well. And that'll be all the characters. Yeah, I really want to complete those armies. They're really important, like the characters and the units, because my dwarves are like, you know, one of my all-time favorite armies. That's really not a good blue. So yeah, that's definitely a realistic target that I can complete that and finish it. Maybe you guys have the same kind of ideals, like as in, you know, I know my collection is, you know, so small compared to other people's stuff that, you know, people send me pictures online, like David Arnold from Australia sent me a whole heap of pictures of his stuff that he's sort of digging out of his garage or wherever, his shed or something like that, and you know, just got so much stuff. I don't know how he could have accumulated so much stuff. So yeah, for me, it's that's not so important, I don't think. But having the armies that I want for each system would be really, really nice. So having you know, at least a couple of factions for my 40k second edition armies. So just the Orcs and the Space Wolves, and I've got those now pretty much. Just a few models here and there I need to collect, and that's it. Blood Bowl, I was thinking today, you know, because David posted that Blood Bowl article again in the Hirohama group, and yeah, that's a game I really miss, and I'd love to get back into, because it's a nice little board game that you can pull out and have an afternoon fun with, and, you know, possibly run a sort of a mini tournament or a league or something in your games club. So that's something I'd want to revisit too, and with a dwarf and a orc army, possibly a Skaven, not army, like team, sorry. You know, probably comprising of mostly I think the second edition or first edition models, the very first ones they brought out. I like those the most. I don't mind some of the, especially the dwarf team for the, is it third edition? I don't know which. It's the one in the 90s one. I don't know if people actually call that the third edition or second edition. I'm not sure, but that's the one I bought and had back in the day. But the dwarves are quite cool. I just never had that team, unfortunately. The Grudge Bearers. I like that. I like that set. I had the Orc and Goblin one, and they were quite cool. But I quite like. I prefer the Kev Adams ones that he originally did. So yeah, that'll be for Blood Bowl, for Space Marine Epic. You know, ideally I'd like to collect everything for that, because I just love that game so much. I'd like to have every single faction. only one Marine faction, but like just enough Eldar that sort of covers everything. I'd really ideally like to have one of everything that they've ever made for Epic. That'd be quite incredible, but yeah, I don't think that's going to happen somehow. And just grateful for what I've got, really. Alrighty, okay, the sword doesn't look too bad. Do we have that? Yeah, we have that beard colour, didn't we? I should have done that. That was not a good idea. Orangey brown for his beard. Now, do we have any of that sepia ink here? I don't think we do we? Man, I'm looking to finish this guy off. I'm not going to say I'm sick of it. I'm just sort of hoping that it's going to finish soon. Maybe you guys feel the same, I don't know. And sort of start something new again. One of the ideas I had before, like initially, was to have like switch out between 3 or 4 miniatures during a video session. So I don't know if that's, if that appeals to you guys at all. I'm not sure, but that was one of my initial ideas of doing this, and just doing like 3 or 4 things on the go, like a round table kind of a setup where I'd have pick four figures and just sort of paint little bits and pieces of those during a whole paint session. But it just hasn't. It just didn't work out that way. Yeah, that might be a good idea though. All right, now flying into it. Let's get these pages of his book in. That blue I'm going to mix in with this light blue. So I can paint that cover in. I just had a quick look at the miniature in the book, in the like the studio scheme beforehand, so I know what colours to paint this guy. Let that dry there, and then yeah, these were also painted in black too. These. Yeah, so probably tomorrow I'll start doing another batch of priming. I'll get that troll done. I've got a couple of boar boys I want to prime up. I don't know if I showed you that. Did I show you that yesterday? The dwarf book had like that. It's like a scenario in it. It's not a battle report, it's just like a scenario they've written up in it. And it's, gee, my memory's so bad I can't remember if I showed you or not. I know I took a photo and I showed Dave last night on Messenger, but yeah, I want to try and make that a reality, like make that, actually play that scenario out. with 6 players basically. It's gonna be like a massive game. 3,000 points a side, and there'll be two dwarf players and 4 orc and goblin commanders, and they take one force each, and there's some special rules for it and that kind of thing. I don't want to like. Maybe that's good for like Patreon or something. Maybe that's something like that's really a really special kind of battle report that I can do for that exclusively or something, or the making of it, or because there's an awful lot of terrain to be built for it. There's like actual castles, like not a castle, but like a castle gate. In the pictures, you can clearly see they're using the mighty fortress scenery for it. I've got a guy in Japan here that may be able to help me out with like a 3D print of something very loosely based on the original one, which I did own, and needless to say, I did sell. I bought the original one too, like the original styrofoam one, which is a painful reminder not to sell anything. It would have been super light just to take it over here either, and as well like take it over to Japan. They're so light, those things. The plastic one, I don't mind it. The plastic castle, the second one they brought out, but I like the original one because it's got all the doors from Advanced Hero Quest in it that you can open up, and on the different levels, so I think that's quite cool. It was a really nice feature. So yeah, see how we go with that one. I think it'd be awesome if I can actually pull that off, and that becomes an actual event at some point, but like way in the future. Realistically, that will only happen. I think that will happen next year. I've got most of it painted. I've already got most of the models. It's just I need to paint 40 Night Goblin archers, which is something I'm not really looking forward to. That's going to be a real monotonous job of getting that done. I was thinking of just taking out 20 of them, because I've got 20 painted already, but there's 60 in the forces they've allocated for the goblin players and Gork and goblin players. So I was thinking about switching those out and changing that unit to something else, but then it's not exactly the same as the ones they've listed in the book, and I want to do it, I want to do it right. I could always use 60 goblin archers, I guess, and they're just plastic, so they're not so expensive. And I'm sure one of my good mates out there can help me out with procuring those at some point. Be quite cool to see actually like 60 Night Goblin archers on the table. Yeah, the scenario is sort of, I was just looking at it before filming, then it's done a bit differently, so it's sort of playing lengthways along the board. So the castle, the actual gate, I think it's set at 8 peaks. One of the I think Thorgrim's fortress there, Kazakarak, I think it's called, and Skarsnik's like the main like protagonist for the goblins, but they don't have Thorgrim in it, which is really sad. I thought, he would definitely be there, like unless in the timeline he's not actually alive, then he might have already died in the lore already. But that would have been awesome to have like a Thorgrim versus Skarsnik kind of matchup. But then, he's like worth 500 points or something like that. But again, the characters in that book already 500 points anyway, so you could have done. I could do it with Thorgrim in it. Actually, just take one of the characters out and replace it with Thorgrim. And Thorgrim is in my cabinet. He's half painted, and the throne bearers have not been painted yet, so I sort of just left it, and I thought I'd get back to it one day. Might do it in a video, like do one of the throne bearers on here, just so we can get some paint on it, make a little bit of progress with him. But such an awesome model. I think I actually had about 3 or 4 of them back in the day. I don't know why or how the hell I ended up with like 3 or 4 of them, but I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did actually. There's one I would have bought myself, and I think I got some from other people or whatever. How the hell I got up with like 3 or 4 of them, I just never know. They're worth a fortune now. And through the kindness of one of the guys here in Japan, he managed to get me one through the Netherlands through a guy who was selling a whole heap of dwarf stuff. And I got it that way, so for, I think about $50 or something, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I've got to do the banners for him as well, and that's going to be like a really big job, because they're like really super intricately designed and laid out. So, but interesting fact about that model, I thought it was a Mike McVeigh paint job, and it wasn't. It was a Kev White's paint job. On the old Hammer group, he told me that it was him who did it. So. Absolutely outstanding paint job. He's such a talented guy, Kev. Awesome illustrator, figure designer, and a miniature painter. Just a freak. So I hope my version is going to do some justice to the original, because I just absolutely love that paint job he did on that. Corners here in the book's going to be painted gold, and it's going to have this going to be okay. This is going to obviously the spine of the book's going to be a different color too. It's going to be making it gold as well, I suppose, or it could be brown. Might be brown, might be better. So I don't think we're going to get this finished today, guys, sorry. It's going to take yet another video. But I'm working as fast as I can. But I think this is better than that time-lapse thing. Like, I know a lot of guys do like time lapses on their videos, and I just don't like that. Now, I'm gonna get some of that gold brown out as well. I've still got his hat to do as well. God, that's gonna be a pain. Someone asked me today, what other Empire miniatures do you have? Just highlighting with a bit of beige in the for that beard there. Not many would be the answer to that. I've got just only a few characters and the Amethyst Wizard. I'm just missing one guy, like one of the, because this is part of the Heroes of the Empire, isn't it, this set? So you get him, you get and you get like 3 other guys, all mounted. Yeah, I'm missing the Herald, I think it's the Herald of the Empire, like the standard bearer guy, the young guy. I think he's holding I think he's blowing a horn or something like that. Yeah, so he's the only one I'm missing. I think I got this from a guy in Australia, actually. I think he was selling these miniatures in Australia, and I just grabbed the only ones he had. He didn't have that other last one. So that goes on the wanted list. But yeah, Jesse's got all the other Empire stuff in his place, and I won't be able to see that until sometime next year, but when he comes over, which is fine with me because I won't have time to paint any of it anyway. But yeah, I'm glad to have acquired that army through a trade deal for painting. So it's got a lot of really cool models in it. Oh, that's right. I do have halflings and the halfling hot pot. And what else have I got? Yeah, the halfling hot pot. Maybe that's all. I have to check because yeah, I did get that from a mate of mine here actually, Paul. He gave me those. I don't think he wanted them anymore, or he just had no interest in doing them, or he just wanted to give them to somebody that was actually going to use them in something. So, so my main idea would be to have for my Empire, good, 20 strong halfling unit. My dwarves, because you can have crossbowmen and you can have normal warriors, so fill out a lot of the, because like the Empire's like pretty defensive army anyway. It's like it's a gunline army, so like the dwarves are, they just rely on artillery to just smash opponents to pieces, and then they come in once they've softened them up and tenderize them with volley gun shots and what have you, and cannon fire. So I think I'm going to have at least 2 units or 3 units of dwarves and cav, maybe some light cav and heavy cav. I love the Empire cav models. I think they're just brilliant. This is in ivory here. Might use some beige for this little snake guy. And for this dragon dude, it's not a dragon, he's a lion, isn't he? So yeah, they're the main sort of ideas, and I can have dwarf allies, so if I wanted to I can include some more dwarf artillery, like an organ gun. So I don't think the Empire can have an organ gun. I don't think they have bolt throwers either actually, so I think only the dwarves can have those. What else? Yeah, like lots of crossbowmen as well. So I like having lots of shooty stuff, And just I would love to have all the wizards, like all the mounted wizards, all the on-foot wizards. So, you know, you can just have that choice at the beginning of a game to say, okay, which college am I going to go for this time? And then use those college spell cards from the 4th edition set in my games at 5th, or just play when I play 4th or whatever. Yeah, that'd be cool. So, and I should have all the electric counts. I've got all those in that deal. I've got Carl Franz on the Griffin, and I've got that Marauder one, which is like a hero on a Pegasus. It's a great Pegasus model, that one, from Trish, who designed that one. And what else is in there? Oh, the War Wagon's in there. It's another big piece. I'm just needing a steam tank, and Justin just got one of those. And maybe just a couple more artillery pieces. And I think that's it, really. Yeah, he's got some great swords in there. He's got the plastic halberdier guys, which are really nice. I quite like those figures. Some flagellants, of course, you need those. Big fan of those. I like troll slayers. But yeah, basically it's a classic 4th ed, 3rd ed, 4th ed army. It's got nothing from the other editions, which is good. So I prefer the original Perry ones. Yeah, and I think I might just call it there, guys. It's nearly on 50 minutes, so I think I'm going to call it there, and we're going to have to just do it one last big session just to nail him and just get him out of the way, because he looks cool, but I'm really looking forward to actually finishing this guy now. I think we can get the idea that how he's going to look when he's finished. But yeah, we're nearly there, guys, nearly there. Just one more paint session, and I think I'm just going to do some touch-ups by myself off camera, because there's a lot of lining in. It's quite messy around all those flame parts on his shirt and that kind of thing, but I can do that myself. He needs a good varnish because it's very glossy with all that orange ink I put on him last night. So, or I could just go ahead and just do some myself now, actually, and just do the last bits in the next video. I think that might be better, because that way we can finally put this guy to bed and get him mounted on that horse and let him ride off into the sunset until he's called upon, which would be great allied, actually, for like a dwarf game where host is playing a friendly and wanted an ally. I think in the 4th edition book he's got some kind of special kind of magic item that allows him to cast total power every turn, which is quite scary. So he's quite a beast, really, isn't he? So I need to check up on his rules. I've got the Empire book here. I need to check up on what he can actually do and how much he costs. But either that or just have as like a vanilla wizard in a game one day. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I hope that was somewhat interesting for you. I'm sorry this is taking such a long time, but we can see the end coming near. All right. So now, in terms of the next model. After this, I know I put it to a vote, but I think I'm going to do this guy because he's already undercoated, and I'm really looking forward to doing this particular ogre. Another wonderful Perry designed ogre here. So I think that'll be the next one, guys. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Take care. Have a good day or good night, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, bye.